that you're here on the journey with me. I really appreciate it. So thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to the media. You guys have been with me since DV8. Yes, behind the scenes, some of you have footage which you shouldn't release, and keep it that way. Some of you have footage that you have released now. Thank you guys so much for your influence as well as media. Thank you to all the team that's been behind the scenes as well. Everyone who's ever supported me, Nav Corp, Talent, all the people who made me what I am. Thank you so much. Clear Cut in the building, definitely. And of course, my ghostwriter, Count Machura as well, who's in the building. Thank you guys so much. Code, and I see all the guys who are putting in work, and I really appreciate the industry as it stands right now. So thank all of you guys. My name is Lubwama Daniel Chigozi. I'm an artist who started off 10 years old, was the first time I was ever in the studio. I was produced by some unknown producer called Steve Jean. He was an intern at Bava Studios in Lunguja, which is of course Rubaga. Lunguja is like the same neighborhood. So that's the first time I ever got into studio. Since then, we've kind of been working to get better and better, bigger and better. The Clear Cut days, through the Talent and Navio days, into where we are now. It's been a long journey. Like I say, 35, 40 countries toured representing Ugandan music. Closer to 70 awards now for the music we've put in. And there's just 1,000 stories between here and there that I could mention. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's been an epic journey, and you guys have been on that journey with me, as well as a lot of the sponsors on here as well have been on that journey with me. So I wouldn't be here without you guys. The fans, all of the fans that are watching, you guys are the ones who fuel us and make us better, man. So thank you guys so much for that. Yeah, so I'm neighborhood Navio, man. You never know what neighborhood you're gonna catch me in.
Yeah, neighborhood Navio. All right, so I feel like, honestly speaking, Timothy Cord is here. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Navio gives the best interviews. Every time you come to the show, best interviews, always very professional, fun, and name it, everything in between. So we've really witnessed your journey because you've actually given us, a chance to look into your life. You keep showing up for interviews over time. So most of the things that you say here, we probably already know, and everyone is just happy to be part of your journey right now. If you could please tell us a little bit, if there's a story right before Clear Cut, I'd like you to start there, and then bring us all here. If you could just tell us Navio in terms of the music, what's the story?
I think Navio, pre-Clear Cut or around the Clear Cut days, was more of a hype man. That's what people don't know or realize. I was never the most lyrical or the most nothing's changed. No, but I was never the most talented in the group. But I know I had to represent for the guys that were in the group with me. So yeah, there may have been times where I ran on stage and I would just shout the whole time, "Get your hands up, put your hands down, lefty, righty, hands in the air." But I knew that I had to get better, and I knew there had to be more substance with what I do. And I had very good teachers in KUT Clear Cut to kind of get my rhymes together and have me become, the battle MC that gets respect from Kenya to Nigeria to South Africa, to become that MC who is able to travel around and be known on other continents and take selfies in Malaysia, some of the most unexpected places that we get stopped, by people on the continent, and off the continent to take selfies. So I'd say that was really, one of the funniest things. And I may share footage with the media of me jumping up and down, saying not much of anything when I used to get on stage. So it's weird to see that journey. Another one would be, you need another one, or we'll leave it there.
We can leave it right there. I got a couple of questions.
Yeah, hit me.
I feel like most rappers, and this is not just in Uganda, this is all over the world. When you look at, what they're doing with their free time, let's say they're behind the scenes, or let's say their music as well. I find like you are one of those artists that really do care about the community, And just to throw you to here at the 20 years, we're watching something called Project X on NBS television. And while I was watching one of the episodes, I realized one thing, that you're digging into culture, into tradition, into people. And I really strongly believe that the biggest tourist attraction that we have in Uganda is actually the people, not necessarily the animals. So that gets me to my question. How important is community to you, and what exactly are you doing with Project X?
Yeah, I mean, community is huge. For me personally, I think I never really put it at the forefront at times when I should have. But I think even from the clear cut days, we had one of the biggest tours around to raise awareness, AIDS awareness. And this is like back in 2002, 2003. We were part of the, a lot of those big pushes for awareness. Of course, everybody knows I'm in and out of the refugee camps a lot, and that's just from my own experience, having displaced between here and, Kenya during the Civil War and stuff. So people know about that as well. Off the ground as well, people with disabilities, we work, hand in hand with them. Women's empowerment programs, so many over the years. Child education programs, girls' child education programs, alongside Rahu and the crew. Really, I'd say that if people always like, oh, you give 150% of your time to music, but I'd say if I have 100%, 30% of my time is probably dedicated to that community outreach. But I don't really talk about it. It's not really at the forefront of what people want to know about Navio. That's more of a Ruama Daniel thing. But it is very important. And of course, I see Baba in the building as well. He's all about community. And we've had talks and stuff over the years. I think there's a mutual respect for what we do above the line, below the line, in the hood, out the hood. For projects we've been a part of. I think any hip hop or anyone who's involved in hip hop from our days, whether it's the Sylvester's, Abrams, Baba, us guys, Clear Cut, it's something that came with the hip hop responsibility, and that's the difference between us and a lot of genres. The community is part of what we do.
I thank you so much, because when we're celebrating Navio, as much as I would like to keep it completely to the music, I told you that you're very inspirational in terms of people who just love the rap culture or the music entertainment industry.
That both go hand in hand. None of the men and women are in this building right now doing what they do for the sake of their jobs. They're doing it for the sake of family. So I think it's never a competition between family and work. You work for your family. Family for me is the most important thing. And I think that work ethic was, it was kind of early. I had my son is now 14. He's a big boy. He's bigger shoes than me, bigger hands. What I mean? So it's beautiful to see them grow and how he's kept me focused. I believe that I had a certain amount of expectations coming in, but when he was born, that really made me reassess how I want to be remembered. And how hard I go. So for me, family and work, they go hand in hand. The expression you see, the creativity, the drive, the consistency the people mention. For me, I get that because I get that reminder every time I go home that I'm not working for me, I'm working for family. So the two go hand in hand.
All right, I've already seen enough videos of people saying that they're coming to the Navio concert, and I'm talking about, big artists, already endorsing that they're coming to party with us. What should, we expect from Navio on the D-Day?
I think this is like what, my ninth show. This for me is 20 years because nothing is guaranteed. We're not guaranteed I'm going to get a 30 years. We're not guaranteed I'm going to get a 40 years. So for me, this is such a huge milestone. Everything has to be on point, spectacular. And I have to show what, those 70 awards, what those 35, 40 countries that we've toured, what the experiences with different programs, everything from, 1/8 to Twendekazi to, the Channel O nominations, everything from Clear Cut, the days touring around Africa, from bus, border to private jet. I got to show what all of that has taught me for 2 to 3 hours on a stage. That's how I'm regarding it. So for me, it's life or death. Like everything my brand has built to, everything that we've been coming to, is coming to a head here. But then also at the same time, it's a huge celebration. I made it back from West Africa. I made it back from, Asia and everywhere that I've been. All those awards, I've made it back from there, bringing it home. So now for me, it's like a coming home story. What I mean? And this is how it ends. Like, this is the huge celebration. People are coming to party. People are coming to have fun. So yeah, even the my closest friends that I've been talking to are like, we're here to celebrate. You know what I mean? As much as, like, everything's gonna be running smoothly, the first and foremost, we're here to celebrate and have a good time. So yeah, man, if you want to be at the craziest party in town, make sure you guys come down. You know, and have a good time. I think it's a safe spot that we've picked. Thank you to Sheraton for providing such a safe dynamic. Whether it comes to the VIPs, or everyone else who's coming. The regular folk like me. We're all gonna be in the same place. All gonna be safe. All gonna be taken care of. Great
Yeah.
security. The place is walled in, really nice, and a breezy gardens in Sheraton. Who doesn't want to be in a situation like that? It's very central. I'm really looking forward to the experience. We have a book that's coming out October 19th. So all of the experiences that I've learned over this 20 years, we have a book that's coming out. I have my partner that I'm working with on it called Jeffrey Samaganda. When I wanted him to say a few words about the project. Before we get to the questions. And yes,
You wrote a book.
yes, I've been writing it. Navio in 20 years, hopefully will have made enough mistakes, had enough failures, had enough hard times, had enough experiences to really inspire the next generation of guys. I believe that we kicked open so many doors, but the problem with kicking open doors is your knee might end up hurting. You know what I mean? We've kicked open so many doors, but it comes at a great cost. And I think the beauty is being able to share that with the people coming up. I think with UNMF and a bunch of things that are happening in the industry right now, there's a huge surge towards how we're going to influence the next generation of artists, how they're going to benefit. And so I think in 20 years, man, I just want to be remembered as a guy, first and foremost, just a Rubaga boy who loved music, loved this country, wanted to explore Uganda, bring that to the people, and one of the best for his family, man. And as Ugandans, everybody's your family. Actually, this is hilarious because my mom did an interview 3 months ago where she told the whole country I was unplanned. And they had a boy and a girl, and I came along. But they still love me, so it's okay. So yeah, sorry. As a planned kid, what?
What are your greatest fears, personally and as an artist?
Greatest fears, I don't have I don't, like, past family, I don't really have too many fears. Family, friends, I fear for other people more than myself. I was raised to be able to handle myself in many situations, so I don't really fear for myself, but yeah, it's just the difference between being a real human being and a role model sometimes, I think is what's expected of us sometimes as artists is very, very broad, and everybody has a bad day. So, reputation is a big one just because I represent more than myself. I represent the Ugandan people. I represent my fans. Every time I step outside, I represent more than myself. So that would be my only fear, but that's about it.
Okay, 20 years down the road, what is that one time that you felt like quitting, and why did you feel like that during your 20 years of journey?
Quitting. I feel like when they became a shift to everybody going online, that was one of the moments I thought that maybe things are going to be decided by online. Before we even understood it, it seemed like, oh, we're going to do this vote for this awards or that awards, or you get into this, or this is now how big you're going to be. When we started getting attached to a number, statistically, I knew that it was going to be difficult for us in Africa. So that's the first time I was like, wow, you have all these great artists who are so amazing at what they do, but if they don't have the stats to back them up, does that really mean that they're not dope artists anymore? I think that for me was one of the biggest things. The shift to online was a moment where I was like, oh, wow. So my ability to freestyle and rap and battle and do whatever I do where does that now rank in this online world where they're like, Navio, you only have 2 followers? You know, I still don't think it's a good way for us to judge acts and artists, because, and even music videos, stuff like that. You know, I mean, it's not a good way to judge artists, because any big artist will walk out on stage, you know, albeit at Diamond Platinums. In Uganda, Joanita Kawalia will walk out on the same stage, and you'll see what the crowd will do. You know what I mean? But she's not about followers, and she's not about music videos and anything like that. So it's very hard to judge artists. That would be one of the times that I thought, you know, it was going to be, but that was also like 15 years ago. So
Kale,
I kept going.
Sembayo, lastly, there have been allegations of your audience being mostly in young kids' school and stuff, and you're doing a concert when kids are coming back for holidays and campus is resuming. Is this proving the fact that that is where your audience lies?
You know what? Me and my team are really bad with calendars. So we usually just do whatever we feel like. I think at this point, whatever date felt good was what we're going to go with. We're saying to ourselves, we need 3 months, 4 months for the build-up. And this seemed to be the perfect date. I don't think when it comes to a 20-year, you can't be very particular about the timing. You have to just do it when this is when I started, you know, September 2003. So this is when I have to have my concert. So we weren't very particular about the date, but we did announce the date before any of the other shows that are on the date. Appreciation. Thank you for playing us. If it wasn't for that show, we wouldn't be celebrating anything at all. So no, thank you very much for believing us, man. Though you are also a kid, actually. You are also, yeah, planned one even you. Yeah, no, I mean, sorry, while we're on the subject, there are planned kids, and then there are also international kids. So a lot of the artists that hopefully are going to be able to make it, some of them have to get visas to Uganda even now. Wow. So there are, yeah, a lot of artists and a lot of collaborations that we've done. But we're going to try and get as much as we can into the show. We had the show down from about 130 songs down to now 50 songs, and we're going to cut that down to fit in for the 2 hours, which is maybe about 25 songs. So we're also having a hard time. Please, members of the press, let us know what songs they want to hear. That'll be very instrumental. Also, remember that Stanbic and FlexiPay are doing some giveaways online as well. They're going to be doing huge promotions. A lot of the sponsors up here will be doing promotions on their page as well for giveaways to those die-hard fans of both Navio and the brands that they represent. So I'm looking forward to all of that. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of action. It is 20 years of Navio. So if it's just me alone, which has never happened, be happy. But now we have a lot of people coming for this, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Minus the ones I've collaborated with, I've met most of my heroes. At one point or another, most of the people internationally that have given me drive. And what I realized on my journeys out there was that actually the biggest wealth that we have in terms of music and culture is right here. So as part of my movement to kind of teach guys, of course, I'm imparting knowledge by doing the book, you know, and also it's very humble. I'm not saying I know it all. But I'm just saying there's a lane that I chose, and these are the mistakes I made. This is how you guys can do it better. But also, you know, with doing stuff like the TV show, we get to explore Uganda. We get to highlight things that make Uganda great. The culture, the people, the food. We just do fun things. And it's such a beautiful country. With each episode, we're not even trying to script it too much. I literally just go to a city and have a blast. And people are really blown away. They're like, wow, we didn't know that about each other. So I think the first thing I wanted to do, you know, and the reason the show came up first is that's what I want to impart on the people, that we are all a unit as Ugandans. When we get that kind of oneness, you're going to see the same thing that we see in Nigeria. Yep. They talk about Nigerians being patriots. I want the same kind of thing for us, where you talk about Karamoja and you know more than one. Hey, those guys who jump. No. There's a lot more to their culture, you know, and that is what the TV show and stuff like that is going to be teaching. So I think from a teacher standpoint, that's what I'm going to be focusing my efforts on, you know, getting the show out, getting information out, letting people know that our culture, our people, our truth is just as relevant as anything that they're learning from outside.
What would you say is your most important song from your catalog?
Wow, this guy really is mean.
That's a good question. And why?
I believe that there is only one song in Ugandan history that has put 13 and 14-year-olds on a first-class flight to the biggest award show on the continent, having lunch with Kofi Olumide here, Oliver Mutukutsi here, Baba Ma, Salailo Selota, people from all over the continent. So I have to, always shout out All I Want to Know. All I Want to Know with Clear Cut, that's definitely up there. Also, of course, we have, one of the top 3 most played songs of all time in Uganda, which is Bad Man from Kamocha. That was a big one. Hey, man, now with Iranga, guys, you really, really please. The most important one. I think for me, I'm going to say Ngalo. It's the first song of Half the Legend, and I had been sitting in school watching Peter Miles get all that ruckus money alone.
Are you serious?
So the rage I came out of school with, the anger to want to excel. After doing well in my exams, kids, I also did well in my exams first. I think that was really evident, and me just coming out with Bugumo, Ngalo, all of those songs back to back, I think it really just it was a snapshot into, where I wanted to take hip-hop music, and the fact that hip-hop music could be released in such a pure form, or pure enough, and still make it relevant and still be on every single chart. So yeah, that was a big one for me. You have to understand, all of us here are of a certain age. When you're a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, the oldest guy in Clear Cut was 15. We had absolutely no roadmap, no advice. Even the artists who had done it before had kind of gone into DJing. It was the Wild West out here. So the Steve Jeans and the D&D Slams and the guys in our days, the DJ Berries, they were also trying to figure it out. So we had absolutely no reference point. And for me, it's like basketball. They taught me how to shoot. In 2 years, I was winning dunking competitions. All I need is a seed, you understand? So I think for me, the one most important thing is just giving people a seed that they can structure their tree with, that they can go and plant a whole tree. Because I know that what I did with just small pieces of advice from the myth and, guys in my own group and my brother, like just small tiny piece of advice, Ali, that tiny seed can lead to a whole, the tour of Europe. A tiny seed can lead to an amazing award-winning album. A tiny seed can lead to you doing community outreach and totally dedicating your life to being a community activist. You know what I mean? So those tiny seeds, I feel, is why I'm writing the book. There's going to be advice in there that people are like, this is obvious. Some advice that people will be like, oh, I didn't think of this. And those moments, those are the ones that are going to inspire the next generation. And hopefully we should get a full forest by the time we're done. So yeah, it starts with a seed. So whether or not I'm on just a platform that I've built already, affecting some sort of change for the people, the day-to-day lives of Ugandans, for me, is paramount. Because it just so happens my kids are here, my nephews, my nieces, the judges, they're still here. You know what I mean? So we need to make a move for the better. One, just from the sake of even like pride. You know what I mean? A lot of people, I get praised for, sometimes they're like, oh yeah, man, it's so, I preferred when you do your English rap and whatnot. I'm like, that's great. If I was as astute as some of my peers, I would be doing a lot more Luganda rap. But I know what I'm good at. But I can still represent myself. And I can still represent Uganda doing what I do. I know I can, because knowledge is free, knowledge is everywhere. And people watch Avengers in different languages anyway. So, you know what I mean? We'll always have people to translate Thank you to the guys downtown. Shout out to the guys translating our movies as well. No. So yeah, for me, the most important thing will be affecting change. Just for the people in my circle, people doing music, but Ugandans at large, man. I think that would be the biggest takeaway. And I'm starting to make moves towards that. There's no there's no end game of profitability for me writing a book right now. Getting on and having this deal with NBS, it really, in terms of my career and my legacy, it doesn't change anything. But I want to impart that knowledge. I want to let people who follow me, who they say are plant kids or cool kids, I want to let them know that they can respect culture. You know what I mean? So I'm in there, I'm dancing with the troops, the local guys, I'm sampling the local cuisine because that's what makes us African. Yeah, so some pride. Yeah, I had an album called Pride, some pride in our African culture and the beauty of that. Getting people to really appreciate it for the next generation would be good. Put that under advisement for there, because the OGs also, this is their job. So if you're paying the bill, they will be ready. Yes, sir. Yes, no, I mean, yeah, we'll talk to the OGs and see if we can do a little sample for the people. Born in African streets on African sheets, now I feel and carry that African heat. Through cold nights, I've done nothing but battle defeat. Until right now, had to keep my battles discreet. I'm branded African, hold my eyes as my receipt. African rhythm, see how I bump my head to the beat. They can take me, they can't do nothing about my African fleet. We're original to death. You see how my Africans speak, African speech. Do it with my African tongue. Love breathing African air in these African lungs, African hands, not to mention African grip, African smiles, not to mention African lips. There's more to Africa than how some Africans spit. There's more beauty to be found besides African hips. Even if you came, all you touch is the African tip. Think you piss until you see one of my Africans flip. I'm African. I'll be African till there's no one left. African, right up until my African death.
Because 20 years, there's a person behind those 20 years. And one of the reasons we're the most undervalued human beings on the planet, because nobody knows who we are. If you Google him, you're not going to find much. So one of the reasons I'm encouraging every single one of you, especially people like you, people follow, you have to tell us who you are. Where do you come from? What you stand for? Where you're going? How you getting there? What contributions are you making? Because this is a chapter of your life. There's another chapter. Music ends sometimes, right? But you're still a young man. There's a lot to go. There's so many chapters in his life. His story is incredible. I did the research, asked some young people about Navio. You know what they used to tell me? He's just a rich kid. Doesn't even need the money. What does he do? Well, I've known his mother for the last 15 years. That's how I got to know Navio. His mother is the woman who basically introduced me to him. I did some research on him, the amount of work he puts in. But then I told him that beside the music, how can people in the country across Africa get to know how you do what you do so they can emulate what you do going forward? So many artists have disappeared. So many wealthy individuals in Africa completely disappeared. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they did. And by the way, if you don't write, don't worry, they'll write for you. The key is, would you want to really be happy with what they say? So every single artist and every single one of you, anything that's not documented doesn't exist. Anything that's not documented doesn't exist. The reason why, I live in the UK, my company is actually publishing that we're helping to do this. One of the reasons really confused me, how come those countries call them wealth countries when the UK borrow 20 billion pounds a month to pay their bills? Why do we call them wealthy? Because they document everything. Here, even people in Uganda, when I come here, they said to me, why are you writing things down? Are you Muzungu? So he has to document. And also beyond documentation, your program is a training program. It's going to be shared all across the country, all across Africa, teaching them what made you who you are so that you don't die. You see, people don't die as long as they do what? Document. But I'll leave you with this, especially here in Uganda. My name is Samaganda. But what happens here, We don't value documentation. They even call it butabu. They don't invest any time putting it in there. Everywhere I have been is because something that need to speak for me before I show up. That's what you have to do. So all the questions you've asked, every single thing that he hasn't even told you, it's in a document. The partners should partner with him long term, not just for this show. This show is over when? When is September. After that, and then what? Partner with him this document because it's going to be ongoing forever. It's going to be inspiring young people all across the country, all across Africa, ever. Sure, it will be done. And the cameras will be off, and you forget about him until he keeps going.
Everyone, my name is Ali Alibai. I'm the CEO of Talent Africa. And why we chose to be a part of this show, I think it's a no-brainer for Talent Africa. We've been working alongside Navio for I think the distance of the 20 years. From the Club Rouge days to Talent 256 to Talent Africa. We've been together in so many different scenarios as management, as agents, as promoters, as event managers, as friends, as travel companions. I think I've traveled more than 20 countries together with Navio. There's just so many experiences that have been shared over the years. And of course, when an opportunity to jump on his 20 years concert comes along, it's just a no-brainer. It's like guaranteed, like we have to do it. He's my brother. We'll always support each other and our businesses. And that's why we're on board.
Yeah, Navio, to be called brother.
It's not late.
It's not light.
I'm the only one.
This is my son. Right. What should we expect from Talent Africa Group, in form of event productions at the concert?
It's going to be a great production. We're going to fill this place up like we did a couple of weeks ago with Navio's show, a real hip-hop show. Big stage, big lights, big screens, big production. Navio, as everyone knows, he works hard. When he's putting on a show, he's going to rehearse, he's going to bring his A game, and we're just happy to be there with him to produce what he wants and to bring out his vision through that artistic performance.
As we celebrate 20 years of Navio, I don't know how long you've really known Navio, but one thing I know is that you have traveled with him all over this country and beyond, emphasizing on and beyond. So, getting it on a personal level and on a level of Talent Africa Group, tell us a few experiences that you've shared with the champion here.
We've gone to so many places. One of the experiences I can remember is when we went to South Africa to shoot the one and only video, which at that time was probably the highest budget video ever shot by a Ugandan artist.
Hands down.
We worked with an extremely great film crew, and the concept of that song and that video was like he had to bungee jump, he had to swim with the sharks, he had to do crazy stuff, and he'll wake up the next morning and he's back to work. That's what I got to put my hats off to him. He's a hard worker, dedicated artist. Yeah.
I remember watching the video and thinking, that's definitely Photoshop. Nobody can do this. He didn't really do this. Then he came around on TV. I saw him saying how he did it. I'm like, now I believe the story. You actually did this thing.
Yes.
Bless up. One more question. This one is fun. I'll be reading some lyrics off of some song, and I expect you to tell me what the song is. Now, me and you don't want you to embarrass me here today, so we better get this right. All right, I'm back like I never went, yeah? They say we must be on to something, but they lack in the evidence. A fact that's irrelevant, because I'm not in politics, but I'm still doing trucks with the president. Where does that come from?
For the massive turnout this morning, there's a great support for this event, the cause. My name is David Kakonge. I'm the Hennessy partner for Uganda. We're the official partners in Uganda for the Moet Hennessy brand. As you know, Hennessy is the biggest cognac brand in the world. It's a leading, and the good thing about it is that it's always been associated with hip hop, and that's why we are present here and active with Navio.
Well, what I can say is energy radio, first of all, even though we're fairly new in the market, what I can say is that we are quite disruptive. And the reason we even reached out or even have a relationship with Navio is because himself, he's a bit disruptive. All right, when it comes to the music, when it comes to the vibe that he brings onto stage, we said, oh my goodness, Navio is the perfect fit for Energy Radio, and likewise as well. So I would say that is exactly why we are a part of Navio's 20 years in the making.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. And I like that, time to celebrate. You're right here to celebrate with us. Will you bring in your energy to the show on the 2nd of September?
Oh, yes, of course. We have to. Navio, first of all, congratulations for 20 years in the industry. That is, let me tell you, by the way, 20 years isn't easy.
It's about how old you are.
Don't do that to me. But 20 years of consistency, that is 20 years of creativity, that is 20 years of influence, that is 20 years of pushing boundaries, that is 20 years of global recognition, that is 20 years of Navio, man. So congratulations to you for that one, from Energy Radio.
I like that you're speaking, as Energy Radio, but I know you grew up in Kenya.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Meet in Kenya.
What song do you listen to? Navio song?
When it comes to Navio,
Yeah.
I have a full catalog.
Oh, my God.
Now, let me tell you, at Energy Radio, by the way, at each and every single Friday, what we do is we play, we call it Fan Fave Friday. Now, we play strictly Ugandan music the whole day from morning all the way back down to evening. All right? And so that is where I discovered how big of a catalog now.
Stanbic Bank.
Thank you so much.
Uganda, yes.
All right. It's good to have you here. Why Navio? I know Stanbic Bank, big product, FlexiPay, big product. I would easily answer why, according to my thinking. But from your standpoint of view, why Navio?
Thank you. My name is Jackie Abwol. I handle marketing for FlexiPay. Why Navio? Navio is one of the best, and Navio is a Ugandan. So at Stanbic Bank, we celebrate our own, and we move through the journey with our own. So we sat together as a team, and we're like, why not celebrate this milestone with Navio? Because when we celebrate Navio, we're not only celebrating Navio, but we are celebrating everyone in Uganda. Yes, because
I like that you say that.
Uganda is home, and we always drive her growth. So how do we come in as Stanbic? We are providing the best digital ticketing solution for Navio, because we want the event to be something that is relatable to Navio. Navio is a creative person, so there is no way we would go non-digital. So let's do this, give him the best ticketing solution for the fans to be able to purchase tickets at any time from anywhere.
So, which gets me to my question. How can the public buy tickets from FlexiPay?
It's very simple. We have two options. That is one through *291#. That is for feature phones or for the guys who would not want to use maybe smartphone. And then for the guys with smartphone, you can go to Google Play or App Store, and then you basically download FlexiPay app, and then you'll be able to purchase ticket. So when you go to *291# or FlexiPay app, you simply select ticket, go to buy ticket, then you put the event name. The event name is Navio, bold uppercase. So you won't get lost. You will definitely find all the ticket categories are available. You'll be able to purchase at your own convenience.
Thank you so much.
And is Santongo, brand manager Pepsi, and I'm very excited to be part of Navio's 20 years of bangers. It's exciting for us.
Comma. That's what you should have called the concert.
20 years of bangers.
Yeah, man. But Navio and bangers, I think, should be the same thing.
Yeah, by the way,
let's
think about it.
All right, man. What does Pepsi Max supports align with the commitment of celebrating 20 years of Navio?
As Pepsi and part of all our brands, Mountain Dew as well, we've been partnering with Navio, mostly on the hip hop awards. So the 20 years was a no-brainer for us. And as a brand manager for Pepsi, I've been listening to Navio since I was in high school. So it's really exciting for me to be part of it. It's a privilege really for us to be part of it.
Since you were in high school?
Yeah, since I was in high school.
Navio. Sir. Hey. What is your favorite Navio song? Let's say this.
I have a couple of them, but I'll go with two.
Yeah.
One is a feature, Mr. DJ.
Yeah, man. Oh, you
And
can't say
then-
my song.
I really like that one. And then the second one is Jogereza. I like that one as well.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming through today. We hope to see more of this, more support leading towards this concert. 20 years of this gentleman, Navio. What to say, man? I have so many stories. I don't know the right ones in a space like this.
You should turn off Navio. He's threatening the guy.
It's like, I don't know which ones to say, but just to be short, because people's time. I mean, we've had moments where it's you're traveling by bus for 24 hours across the continent, country to country, flights, whatever it is, and we have bonded and worked on stuff. Constant workaholic. We were going to Nairobi. There was some sweet evening tea in the morning, if you understand. And he wanted to write music. I don't know why. But yeah, just constant workaholic, and it has translated, 20 years consistent, making hits consistently. I don't know, 6 albums? And those are the ones that are out here. 3 with clear cuts. There's some that are unreleased from battles. I have seen the progress from just battle rapper to this brand here, and just happy to be here and support in any way that I can. Yeah, that's it. That's
Thank
the
you so
edited
much.
version.
I would say. Oh, right. What's your favorite Navio song?
Trouble.
Oh, the award-winning song from the Pride album.
Who forced you to shoot it?
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes.
Now we know who forced Navio to shoot the video.